leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own.
You know. Not your average nigga, I'm a guy out the hood. They can't downplay me, I came up, I'm elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they see me in my presence, say they see how I'm coming. Young, but you not just gonna finesse me like you did my peoples. And then back when you said they was emancipated. This ain't that. Your head too big, you feeling yourself. The game wasn't fair, you had the advantage, we wasn't educated. I don't look at you people the same. Nah. Your worst nightmare, my skin tone about them chains. Yeah. Not no circus lion, son, I can't be tamed. You gon' have to kill me, pussy, Toby ain't my name. Y'all still want us think our history started when we were slaves? What? Come on now, talk about them pyramids we made. I was chosen by that man, you know y'all just been running game. The nerve of you acting like...
Oh, snap. I only had a camera up. What's going on, family? Welcome back to another episode of Shifting the Culture podcast. I'm your host, brother King Cam, and we are continuing our series from the past 3 weeks now, where we are talking about closing the wealth gap in Black America with Johnny Stewart of Black Unicorn Factory, family. So I have my brother again here tonight who's going to be covering another specific topic in being able to close the wealth gap. So I'm going to be bringing him on shortly. I don't know why. Oh, that's why, because the light way over there. Because I'm trying to figure out why is my lighting off today. But anyway, I'll fix that in a second. But I'm going to bring Brother Johnny on. What I need everybody to do is I need you to make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. Right? If you're on YouTube, Facebook, if you're on Facebook, I need you to comment and I need you to share as well. On YouTube, I need you to like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the bell, stay notified each and every time that we drop a video, and make sure you smash that subscribe button, smash the subscribe button. Twitter family, I need you to retweet, and everybody in the comment section, let me know what city and state that you're checking in from. All right. So I'm going to bring Brother Johnny in shortly. But what we want to do also is kind of recap from last week. We want to recap from last week. And in our recapping of last week, we were discussing some of the returns. We were talking about the Jobs Act. We were talking about what President Obama did with the Jobs Act. But we also was talking about some of the returns that you're able to see on your money. 1,000 times your money. But then we was hearing bigger numbers than that. But IPO, pre-IPO investing is pretty much 1,000 times your money, and that's minimum. And then you can go beyond that, right? You can go beyond that. So I want to show you some video of Damon John actually talking about this and discussing some of the percentages that you can make on your money. So let me get this pulled up, family, and then we'll be talking with Brother Johnny in a second. So let's listen to this.
The most coveted startups. Together, we lead America's comeback. Our mission is bold, and we are not making any apologies for that. Every month, we'll bring in the founders of 2 startups with unicorn potential. They'll pitch their deals right to you, me, and our entire network. We'll put them to the test. You won't just be a face in the crowd to these remarkable visionaries. You'll be by their side. At the beginning of their stories, you'll become their partner. If they have what it takes to win, together, we'll help them any way we can. That means their success is your success. If you catch a lucky break and land the next Airbnb or Uber, that one deal all by itself could make you very wealthy. There are risks involved, but there's so many ways to win. And study after study has proven that for every $1 you make investing in stocks, you can make as much as $1,650 from startups. And we aren't wasting a moment. We already have the details on 2 startups we're using to launch our mission. Both have passed our 1,000x formula with flying colors. And is your success. If you catch a lucky break and land the next Airbnb or Uber, that one deal all by itself could make you very wealthy. There are risks involved, but there's so many ways to win. And study after study has proven that for every $1 you make investing in stocks, you can make as much as $1,650 from startups. And we aren't wasting a moment.
The videos from Damon John where he was actually discussing pre-IPO investing or angel investing, because you have different rounds. You can get in at pre-IPO, you can get in at IPO when they do the first public offering, but then you can get in early, which the angel investors get access to, and that's how they're able to get those enormous returns. All right, so I'm about to bring Brother Johnny in so that we can pick up where we left off last week, where we be discussing NIL and how NIL is making millionaires every day. All right, so here is Brother Johnny Stewart. Brother Johnny.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good evening,
Thank you for
everyone. I'd
joining
like
us,
to
brother.
say thank you. Thank you once again for having me as a guest on the show for tonight. I am elated about the subject of NIL. There's a lot of potential that's there, and it's just another option that so many people will have that can actually build wealth and, like I said, and I close this wealth gap. So what has happened is we've been discussing over the week just options. If cash is the only option, then you only have you have no option, you only have one. But there's new ways, and we're just exploring those new ways because they're available now. You can now invest by doing various things on invest your social media time. And that's really what we're discussing. But tonight we were going to discuss NIL, name, image, and likeness, and how that actually can turn into student athletes, into student millionaires before they even reach draftability. And many go to college with that dream in mind. There are thousands upon thousands every year, athletes who graduate and go out and get jobs. There are some that are lucky and they make it on to the pros. Many that go on to the pros, sometime they don't make the team. They get cut even after they've been drafted.
Right.
So a lot of dreams are thwarted, and but because there's an asset that actually followed them all the way through college and into being a professional athlete, that particular asset, which is their fan base, is really not utilized to its fullest. And so we want to just explore some of the ways that that can actually happen, because we have a large percentage of our nation that, from Pop Warner football all the way to Division 1, that now are able to make money from their name, image, and likeness. And you'll be surprised. There's athletes on every level that actually have a large following. And there's so many different sports now. Even e-games is now a sport as well in college.
Wow.
But you have from wrestling to track and field to golf to tennis, to volleyball to basketball, baseball, and so many, about 23 different sports. And now they can capitalize on their image, likeness, and things like that. So let's just explore a few advantages that they have. But as I said, the whole premise really is to explore and help those that are out there to find a way to close this wealth gap. And in my new book, I mentioned about closing the wealth gap, Brother King.
Yes,
I
sir.
mentioned that if you can't close the wealth gap, then let's build a bridge to the other side. And so many times, even the Jobs Act that we discuss, along with NIL, is actually a wealth bridge because we have a wealth gap, and it's really an investing gap. We need ways to get others involved in investing. That's where our premise really is. So these are just other avenues to invest. NIL is just another avenue. But we want to get you investing because if you invest, we can close this wealth gap. We just have to have creativity and courage to be able to initiate new things. And we have right now governmental inertia that is behind us. And so we can do these things so that we can go ahead and invest. But those are, like I said, those are things that are available. But so many things that go on in social media. I have about 10 different things that I wanted to discuss just briefly. But a lot of
Let's get into them. Let's get
student
into them.
athletes, yeah, there are a lot of student athletes will now have a brand that their fans can become a part of, and that's important because they haven't been able to do this ever since since before the Jobs Act that wasn't possible. So now that they can become a part of the brand, now engagement is equity engagement. Before you've had a relationship where it was really content engagement. You follow them based on the content that
Right.
they provided, whether they were an athlete or an entertainer. But now we have something called equity engagement. And equity
Mm,
engagement is a different relationship. And with an equity engagement, the person has almost a fiduciary duty to support that which they've invested themselves in. So equity engagement is a much stronger relationship than content. A lot of people that are creators and and athletes, many times a crowd will follow you, but as long as you are doing something new and exciting. But when you run out of things new and exciting, you'll lose your engagement.
right.
But when
Right.
it
Right.
comes to equity engagement, it's a different relationship.
Mm,
See, you and them are in business together, and you have what we call a fiduciary duty to turn around and support that. So it's not so optional and elective as content is. And like I said, content to me is more like a train being shoved coal into the engine.
mm.
And when you run out of coal, the train stops. Well, a lot of those that are out there, when they leave the athletic field and go off and things like that into a life, their whole crowd sometime lingers on, but maybe 90% of them no longer do so.
Oh
And
yeah.
also, many of the contracts that a lot of professional athletes have, their contracts when they end was when they left when they left being a professional athlete and being paid. But within 10 years after leaving, most NFL athletes have they found to become broke.
Right.
So it's important to not only to teach a person to invest, but that's it's another form of financial literacy. And I
Absolutely.
had a discussion, Brother King, this week about the Jobs Act and reparations. And most people, that's an interesting subject. But I said something and the whole room stopped. And I said to them that the Jobs Act is better than reparations. And they said, huh? And everybody looked at me like I was strange. And they said, why? I said, because have you ever heard of that statement called a fool and his money
Shall soon part.
shall soon part? The thing is, if you give a person wealth without wisdom, it's a waste. So
Mm.
we don't want to give money to a nation of people that are not financially literate and understand what to do with it. That's why I enjoy teaching about the Jobs Act because in addition to creating wealth quickly, but there's also an educational component that goes right along with it. Wealth and wisdom go together. And without wisdom, all you're going to have is waste. And so that's why I made that particular position. They understood.
Yes,
But
sir. So
the,
let me hold on.
you
So
know,
hold on. So
mhm.
let me just get in because you said something that was extremely important, and it reminded me of something that was said in the movie. It's actually said in Paid in Full, where Money Mitchell was like, "Yo, I could lead a game, but if I leave, are the fans still gonna love me, man?" So that kind of reminded me of the analogy that you brought up about the NBA players or the athletes, that have all the fame, have all the engagement, have all of the money coming in when they are in the game, when they have a career. But then when the career is over with and they go to the sideline, is the engagement still there? Do they still have that same spark that they had when they was actually playing? So that made me definitely think about that. But yeah, so I just wanted to highlight that aspect of it. But yeah, NIL is important, and yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, and one of the things about it, by having an equity engagement between you and your followers, it creates a long-term relationship, and one that has a different meaning and a different vision and different purpose. Because when the fans and the brands come together, they can support and do many different things together. if they like, let's say the athlete comes out with a clothing line,
Hmm.
the followers, when that particular clothing line is sold, they benefit from that. They engage. They can sell it, promote it, whatever. Different clothings and different shoes, you have a built-in market. So that's just one at the that the athlete and the fans actually are owners together. And actually, imagine buying a pair of shoes and getting some money back
Right.
because you're both the person that's selling it and you're the investor in it. And that's exactly what happens in that particular case. There's many other things, like I said, about endorsement deals. When an athlete gets an endorsement deal, of course, the fans would benefit from that. See, it's a win-win situation, and
Mm.
the many endorsements are based on popularity, and how well you are, visually to, nations of people.
Right.
And
Right.
this
Right.
NIL actually would help to actually promote that particular thing. There's other things that you can promote as well. There's sometimes athletes, they have what is called sports related causes, where
Mm.
they support specific medical things that are happening to children and other nonprofit things that are happening. Well, fans like to be a part of that and they like to support those type of things. So you're actually having your fan base to actually participate and actually promote initiatives that are sports related causes, which would benefit both the athlete and the brand that you're a part of.
Mm.
So there are many other things. Also there, like I said, supporting the NIL is so vast because it actually it gives you financial control, in a certain degree that you've never had before. Many of the athletes have managers and things like that that control their destiny. But by being in the company and learning how to guide and navigate, you have a little bit more control. And also because of the learning process, the financial literacy. But this also takes a minority and underserved athletes, from underrepresented communities, and that have not had an opportunity to invest. Financial inclusion is what NIL is going to offer. Many, like I said, I talked to a gentleman just the other day, and I said many people from our community have never had a share of stock in their life. They don't know what it is, how to use it, and that's
Right.
why I said financial literacy comes in, and we'll get a chance to take so many from our underrepresented communities and things like that, and educate them and give them not only an education about what it is that they have, but how to get more of what they have. So
So
that's
let me,
one of the things we look at there. Hmm.
yes, sir. So let me ask you this, just so our viewers can understand, because I was reading some of the material that you sent me earlier, and they highlighted some different examples. They highlighted Uber. They highlighted, I believe Shopify was one. They highlighted Facebook as one, and they all talked about prior to them going public. You know, when they started their first round of offerings to the public, it was, or to those angel investors, really. Um, they started with a number. They started, some as low as $10 a share.
Hmm.
They mentioned Ford Motor Company. That was the first one they talked about, actually.
Hmm.
But some started as low as $10 a share, right? I know we
Hmm.
were saying that in exchange of that monetary value, the work that is going to be put in by the supporter. I don't want to say follower, but the supporter would be
Hmm.
the sharing of the content, the following of the page, the engagement that's on the page, that's helping this page and helping this personal brand company get more exposure, right? Which ultimately, gives the brand more value and brings in more people and more people. That
Yes.
action is what people are trading in place of the money that would actually get them to share in the company, correct?
Yes. You see, Angels and Entrepreneurs was trying to exactly to show you how much money could be made pre-IPO. But I want you to notice something of the names of the companies that you just named off.
Hmm.
They became unicorns or billion-dollar businesses. When you can get involved in a company before it becomes a unicorn and before it goes public, those two things, remember, before it goes public, that's called pre-IPO,
Hmm.
and before it becomes a unicorn. When a company goes from an ordinary business today to a unicorn, that's where the money is made. But those two key components at Black Unicorn Factory, this is exactly what they were pursuing, but that we do. One is every company in Black Unicorn Factory is going public. That's one. So you found a place where you find where companies are going public. Now remember, not every company that's out there that you put your money in is going to go public. They don't go public. If you ask them, they might even tell you, no, we're not. And if you don't go public, you're really not going to ever see your money back, because how else are you going to cash the stock? Now, of course, the company could be sold, but you have to that's a part about financial literacy, is understanding a good company from a bad. Some companies are built to sell a product that they're creating to a bigger outfit. They're really not preparing themselves to go public.
Mm.
And but the thing about the one I want to point out about the unicorn or these billion-dollar businesses, once a company becomes a billion-dollar business prior to going public, most of the time, I would say 99.9% of the time, average individuals are not permitted to invest. Now, they don't turn around and per se say you can't invest. What they do is they have a financial fence that prevents you from investing. Because let's say that there's an Uber and you want to invest in it. The first thing they'll say is, okay, anyone can invest in it. And when you walk right up there to the stand and put your money in, they go, I'm sorry, we need a minimum of $5 million or $10 million.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you don't have $5 or $10 million, you can't invest in the unicorn. Well, that's the way it's been for 87 years, is that they've been offering the an opportunity to be a part of companies that are unicorn, or that would be the next unicorn, but they offered it to people that had not only high net worths and had lots of money, but they did not let the average person do this. In the Black Unicorn Factory, that's exactly what we're trying to do, is to take a company today that's an average company, build it to the point of being a unicorn, letting you become a part of that before we unicorn the company. You got to remember, our goal is not to create average businesses that do average things. We're creating businesses that become big and powerful. And what they have a rule in investing called too big to fail. You know, small businesses fail at 90%. But companies that are public and that are unicorns, too big to fail, they say. And so the failure rate is very, very small in those. And that's why when you try to understand why are we called the unicorn factory, is because we're building, and that's our goal, is to build billion-dollar businesses repeatedly, you see. And in the process of doing this, allow millions of ordinary people to join and be married to these expensive and very valuable companies. One of the things I just recently did Saturday was I went to a seminar, Brother King,
Mm.
and it was about unicorn factory. So I went there. I'm like, I want to find out who else can do unicorns other than us. And what I
Right.
was able to find out is there isn't anybody. There isn't anyone. The
Wow.
thing is, at Black Unicorn Factory, we have 5 different ways to create billion-dollar status that we can control, that has been audited, and has been proven an effective method of work. And we've kept that strategy close to our heart. But the thing is that we're not trying to create ordinary investments. We're trying to let you invest, whether it be by cash or whether it be by task. We want you to invest in companies that will become, because it's like I said, if you know that you're the company that you downloaded the app in today, it's not a unicorn today, but you know that the unicorn factory is going to unicorn it, then you can just listen to Damon John's video. He said, get in on something that will be the next Uber, the next
Right.
billion-dollar company. And if you can get in to that company pre-unicorn, you see, there's even a show on television right now that's called Unicorn Hunters. Everyone is not looking for just an investment to invest in. They're looking for the next unicorn. The thing is that I know what the most people should understand is, if you were looking for unicorns, you should be parked right outside the Black Unicorn Factory's doors, because we're going to be, like I said, producing nothing but unicorns. That's why we're a factory. A factory implies that you're going to do this again and again. But just Brother King, when when he's talking about Henry Ford,
Mm-hmm.
Ford built the first car, and the first car he sold it to rich Americans and foreigners,
Mm-hmm.
just to the rich. And someone came to him one day and said, you need to offer the same opportunity to get a car to the average person in America. Once he turned around and created an assembly line to produce them in mass, he was able to reduce the price. And by
Right.
reducing the price, he made it affordable for the average person to afford this. When he did that, his wealth exceeded everyone in America. But he had to modify what he was doing once for the rich and do it for the rest of America. And that's where he became the ultra rich person that he is and is known for today. And when the same thing is billion dollar company status, billion dollar companies that are going public are not or have never been offered to average people to become to become a part of. You're at a point where we're taking athletes, and this is why we're talking about NIL today. Athletes are both a business and a person in one. We're going
Mm.
to turn that athlete into a corporation. We're going to allow his fans to become a part of that corporation. And that by the fans and the brand or the athlete and his image and likeness and whatever
Hmm.
being the brand, it will be creating another billion dollar company. It's a
Gotcha.
fan based It's actually a fan-based billion-dollar company. So this way now, what happens is when you have a company that goes to unicorn status, that's when you see the 1000x formula go into effect.
So
So
the,
that's where some of the things that he didn't say is that you're not only looking for, because there's a lot of companies that are out there selling stock that will never be a unicorn. Remember, they'll never be a unicorn. You want to go where unicorns, that's the whole premise, is the unicorn factory. So what were
so
you saying, brother?
yes, sir. So when a person goes to follow me for equity, and
Mm-hmm.
um, they go ahead, they hit the barcode, and they lock in. What's the next? What is are they? What happens with them from there? Do they receive a follow up email?
Yeah,
How does
from
it?
that, yeah, from there they receive an email letting them know that we'll be in contact with them very soon,
Mhm.
and they'll receive instructions and offers and things like that. Offers meaning that they can actually invest in other companies. We have what is called an opt-in program. After that first email, you'll get several other emails, and those emails will ask you if you like stock in other companies. All you have to do is click the opt-in button. The opt-in button gives you an opportunity to be an investor in up to 100 different companies, even higher than that now, but in all with one click. So you don't have to re-enter your data into each company's database. You actually are just actually said cross-pollinated into all those different companies. And those companies, like I said, will, because you're a shareholder, they are by required by law to keep you in touch with as they approach the stock market qualification and
Okay.
their evaluations. They keep you up and keep you posted on what's going on. But
Okay.
one of the things that I want everyone to just understand, as your many of these social media fan bases are so vast. I mean, in 20,000s and 50,000s and 100,000s. Those are when you convert the fan bases, those are companies that are in the high, $100 million valuations.
Right.
And when you have an athlete that's 500,000, a million, you're talking about $1 billion company. And like I said, as you join the athlete's his app and become a shareholder, you're actually building a unicorn, a fan-based unicorn, which is very different from a
Wow.
cash-based unicorn.
Wow. Okay.
I
Yeah.
actually
So
think
go into that because I was gonna ask you about
Mhm.
the difference, right? Because when people talk about looking at companies, and you mentioned it earlier about the financial literacy and being able to look at what's a good company versus a bad company, they always talk about looking at the amount of money that's coming in or the revenue that a company is making. So talk about that difference, or is that still necessary for a fan based company versus a cash based company?
Yeah, so what you'll find is that Black Unicorn Factory is listed in three magazines that are global trackers of billion-dollar companies, and we're listed on all three. If any of the guests today would like to see those lists, you'll see Black Unicorn Factory listed there. But of all the reason why I point this out is because in terms of good company, bad company, almost 99% again of those billion-dollar companies are that they have that status and that value because large amounts of cash was infused into their businesses.
Right.
See, the investment community selects a company based on who they like, and they
Mm.
band together, put their money together, and dump a large amount of cash into that company. That immediately gives them the unicorn status, and they all start celebrating. Oh, we got another unicorn.
Right.
Then they send out invitations to the rich and say, if you guys want to get a part of this unicorn, come on. But you got to have, 5, 10, $15 million
Mm.
to minimum to get in. That's how the normal unicorn process. In our particular case, we did something that was totally different. Your fans, and enough of them, if they download and when they download the app, their investment is just like the cash investment. The SEC said, hey, you know what? If investing is a task and that person performs the task, that person's investment is just the same as cash. So we were able this is just one way, we were able to create billion-dollar fan-based unicorns. And why is it better? Let's take a look at why is the fan-based unicorn better than the cash-based unicorn?
Good question. Let's
Well,
go to
most
it.
of the
Let's get
money,
into it.
yes, yes, most of the money that is venture capital, they call them venture capital backed companies.
Hmm.
And one of the things that they don't have is that the money doesn't move. It just sits there on their books.
Hmm.
See, money don't it just sits there. Now, our fans are our money, and we have the best asset. Our asset is better than cash. And they say,
Mm.
well, why is it better? And I ask this question all the time in my class. Which is better for the company? Which makes it more valuable? Millions of dollars or millions of loyal fans?
Millions of
Almost
loyal fans.
100% of the time, yes, almost 100% of the time, everyone goes to fans. Fans or people themselves are more valuable than cash because without people, what is any business? It doesn't
Mm.
matter whether you sell diamonds, gold, oil, or food, or gas, water, anything. Without people, a company is worthless.
That's
And
right.
so they have a company, if you'll notice, that many of these fan-based, I mean, these cash-based, the unicorns are not even going public. And why? Because the people that have invested are not in a hurry. That's one thing I want you to understand the difference. See, the
Mm.
people that are downloading the app, the Follow Me for Equity app, which will create a fan-based unicorn, they got a little urgency in their life. They're not rich. They're trying to get rich. They want to be rich.
Hmm.
But those that are already rich that invest in unicorns, they're not in a hurry to get rich. They're already rich. See, they already own houses, cars, and toys and things like that. But the average person who's out there struggling every day, it's imperative. Let's move this thing along.
Right.
So that's why many of these billion-dollar companies are not in a hurry to go public. See, you go public if you need money. They don't need money. They got tons of it. So they sit there with the stock in the companies and they could sit there for up to 8 years before they decide to go public. You see? So the thing is that like I said, those companies have a weaker asset than ours. And our asset, like I said, we found that our crowd, if you employ them the way in which we're discussing, there's 25 different ways that a crowd can make you revenue. I had a person just the
Mm.
other day, they said, well, Brother Stewart, I mean, yes. And he said, I had a question. I said, what's the question? He said, well, I have some people that are already on different social media platforms. I said, okay. He said, so they're already making money. I said, okay. And I said, how many platforms are they on? He said, about 5 or 6 platforms. I said, okay. So I said, well, that to me means that they have 6 streams of revenue. Yeah, okay. I said, but do you know that the crowd, when they are become a part of the brand, that we have identified 25 additional streams of revenue? And I said to that person, I said, you don't quite understand. How would you like to those 5 or 6 revenue streams to add 25 additional revenue streams to that?
Mm.
You see,
That's a game
because
changer right there.
most influencers don't know that you're using just a fraction of what could be taken from the fan. I mean, that could be come from the fan, just a fraction. As I said, I don't mean to use her in a negative sense, but if you can imagine a famous actress or model having 300 million followers, right?
Hmm.
But when you look at their engagement, the engagement is only 3%. That's it. You guys
Yes.
can look this up for yourself and fact
Yes.
check me.
Now that's
You'll
true.
see
You
that
absolutely right.
97% of them are not doing anything. Now, that's very based on content. Now, let's flip that over to contract, where the crowd now is a part of the brand and has a fiduciary duty to help the brand. Now,
Right.
what
Right.
happens is instead of there being 3% engagement, we have 97% engagement.
Right.
Now, let
Right.
me break that down into numbers. If she could make 50 to $100 million off of 3% of her crowd, how much do you think she'll make if 97% were to get involved?
Man,
A
1,000%.
lot of money's being lost. So you have to
Right.
understand, this is an untapped resource that people haven't realized. The crowd wants to be a part of the brand. The crowd can make a tremendous amount of cash flow. Not just boost your value of your company up to $1 billion status, but it can also produce 25 different revenue streams that you're not even tapping into right now. And all
Wow.
those revenue streams that are coming in can be utilized to invest in different other companies and projects, making the brand beyond the man or the woman. See, the thing that someone else came up with was investing in athletes, but you have to remember athletes get hurt, right?
Hmm.
Athletes get hurt, athletes retire. Different things happen to athletes. Sometimes they get in trouble.
Right.
And if your stock is tied to the athlete's fame, well, he could become infamous overnight. Just let one thing happen, something like that. He's tied to a scandal. And so therefore because your stock would be tied to the athlete or celebrity's fame, when their fame drops, so does your stock value. This is the type of thing that the reason why I told there's another website that tries to do the same thing, that it doesn't work, because the brand is what you became a part of, but not the man, and not the woman or the athlete. It's the company. The company. The company takes its money from cash flow and from value of its equity and buys many other asset producing
Income
companies.
producing
Yes,
assets.
income producing
Income producing
companies.
assets.
So therefore, if the athlete gets hurt, gets caught up in a scandal, your revenue streams and your value is not lost,
Right.
because even if he's out of the way, you still have multiple streams of revenue from other companies that you have purchased and that are producing income.
So
So
Stuart,
yes, mhm,
let me jump in real quick because
yeah,
I think it's important that our people and that our viewers learn to take action. And family, for those who are just coming in, welcome to Shifting the Culture podcast. We are here continuing our series on closing the wealth gap in Black America, millionaires off of NIL. That's what we're discussing tonight. And with our guest Johnny Stewart of Black Unicorn Factory is helping us to understand that fans or supporters are just as, if not more, valuable than cash assets in a company. Because even if you have a cash company that just has cash, if you don't have people to drive it, then it's not going to be worth anything. So if you have a company that's rooted and founded with a support system, with a fan base, with supporters, then you can do more than a company that just has cash flow. But then that company that has fans do create cash flow, oftentimes more than other cash flow businesses. So there's a win-win situation there. But I also want to bring to our attention it's a couple of things. I wanted to bring up what Neil Patel had mentioned about these unicorns and the earliest investors in those enterprises and some enterprises, just to kind of get some data backing up what Stewart has been telling us. So here, this is the investors report, and it's coming from Neil Patel right here. So investing in private startups that 1,000x your money, right? So you see, we right on point. It says investing in private startups could 1,000x your money plus one deal to get you started. We are entering one of the best years on record to invest in private startup companies, and these days you can get in with as little as $50. There are more opportunities than ever to make a potential fortune off the next Google, Amazon, or Facebook, completely separate from the public stock markets. So it's telling you here that you can get in early. Now, this is the part I wanted to read to y'all because Brother Stewart mentioned this to us last week. He said that the earliest, this is what Neil says. He said the earliest investors in those enterprises the Googles, the Amazons, the Facebooks. The ones who got in right at the very beginning made out with life-changing gains unlike those found in any other investment class. Here are some examples. Brother Stewart was talking to us last week about they telling us to buy homes and to go to school and to, invest in these vehicles, and people get excited because you're getting 4% on your money or 3% on your money or 6% on your money. But here are some examples. It says the angel who wrote Spotify's first check saw his investment grow by, listen to this, 133,765%. I'm going to say that again. The angel who wrote Spotify's first check saw his investment grow by 133,765%. Pinterest angel investors cashed out with 583,264% in gains. The list goes on and on and on. In fact, most of the world's leading companies have also served up stunning returns to their early investors. So this is up on the screen. So as you can see, these numbers that Brother Stewart was telling us last week is real and exact right here. Twilio, right? 138,000. Spotify, 133,000. Twitter, 159,000. Eventbrite, 165,000. These are all companies that you utilize today. We on Twitter right now. Right now, these are all companies that you utilize today. So this is the way, like Brother Stewart was letting us know, that we really are able to close that wealth gap. And then I had some people in the chat that was asking, that said they had signed up for Black Unicorn Family and hadn't got any response back. So I went ahead and I want to pull this up because I'm signed up to Black Unicorn Family as well. So let me show you what happens. So this is my email. This is what happened when you sign up. It says, "Dear value member, welcome to the Black Unicorn Factory family. We're pleased to confirm your participation and investment in Black Unicorn Factory through our Follow Me for Equity app. Your agreement to the terms and conditions have been successfully recorded, and we are excited to have you on board as a valuable member of our shareholder family." So now I am becoming a valuable member and a shareholder family with Black Unicorn Family. It gives me the details of my stock, all because, details of my shares, all because of my work of following this company and engaging with this company. So now I have value here, and it shows you, sends you all of this stuff and gives you confirmation of consent and all of that kind of stuff. So you scroll down and it gives you all of this information here in your email. So you should receive that when you first sign up. Then you also get this right here, which I thought is pretty cool, which is your certificate of share of stock right here. So it tells you the Black Unicorn Factory authorized common shares. It got all that stuff, got your name on it and everything like that. And boom. And then it has the seal. And then it says, "Please stand by for further instruction via email." Okay. So this is what happens when you sign up. So I'm going to put it back up on the screen. It's been on the show the last few weeks. What you'll be able to hit that QR code, and then that QR code will take you to Follow Me for Equity, and you'll go through the same exact process. So I just wanted to show that to the family so you can see how that actually works and what is going to be happening once you go ahead and sign up, and why it's important. So we talked about athletes. Brother Stewart was talking about athletes just now, and talked about some of the flaws with just sticking with athletes. So you have to have some specifics. You have to have some I ain't gonna say specifics, but you want to make sure that your company is not foolproof, but you don't want to fall victim to some of the things that just athletes fall victim to. Like you said, a lot of them get hurt, and things like that. So being able to monetize that fan base, being able to utilize the leverage, the power in that fan base will actually give you 20 plus streams of income that even if the athlete gets hurt or whatever the case may be, it doesn't impact or become infamous. Even if the athlete becomes infamous, gets into a scandal or something of that nature, which normally would drag a company down. If you've built that company up in equity through the sweat equity and the value, and the money has come, the valuation has come, now that money has been used in other things, in schools, in real estate, to buy other companies that you also have equity in. So even if that person, finds themselves in trouble, then you don't lose out financially on what you put in. You have money in those other places.
Correct.
Yes,
The
sir.
other thing that I want to point out is that you've never actually seen what I call gains in real time. Let's say that when you went onto the app and you downloaded the app and you became a shareholder in one of the other companies. When you downloaded it that day, the stock value was, let's just say the stock value was $5 that day. Now, as people are downloading the app, that's actually a form of investing. Let's say that 10,000 people downloaded the app. When you look back again, it went from $5 to $8 just a few days later. And because the athlete is promoting and telling more people about it, let's say a few days after that, another 50,000 people downloaded the app. Well, the app has jumped now from $5 to $30.
Mm-hmm.
You see, what is happening, and you're going to see, is that you got in on the ground floor. And as more and more people from not just the United States, but from around the world download that app, you're going to see the value of the stock climb. So if you got in at $5 and a million people came in a month later, the stock is now $200. But when you downloaded it, it was valued at
It was
$5.
at $5.
You see?
So by the time you
So
cash
one of the
out,
things you have to be careful with is that, while supplies last. You've heard that commercial.
yes, sir.
Let's
While
say while
supplies last.
supplies last. So sometimes you might sit back and go, I'm gonna wait for the stock, the value to keep going up and up and up. And then I'm gonna turn around and get in, but we might run out of supply. And then that's when the funding round closes. But what you're gonna be able to do is you're gonna see the value of the company climb and the value of the stock climb in real time. And
Mm.
they'll wonder, well, why is the stock growing so fast, so fast? Is there because of the downloads? Most people that have investment clubs on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
they're looking for an investment that's going to go up in value. Well, how would you like to invest in a company where you downloaded the stock and you literally watched it weekly go up in value? And you said, well, why is it going up? Because people are buying. The more people that buy, the stock's value climbs. But in our case, each time that they download, the stock value climbs. Now, once a company's reached about a 500,000 downloads, $1 billion company. Wow. Now the 100,000% and more comes into effect. But hey, look at this. You have over 100 different other companies to jump in on. So when the next company says, my app is out, you guys get to download, and you hurry up and download that app
Right.
because you want to be in on the ground floor and you can watch your profits grow in real time. A lot of companies I want to point out about good and bad. Take a look tonight, research it yourself and see. Many of the startups that are offering stock, their stock is static. It never moves. You can buy it today and 2 years later, it's still the same value. When you bought it for $5 2 years ago, it's still worth $5 today, 2 years later. The
Mm.
stock's value never increased. When you download the app, you're going to actually see as the downloads come in, you're going to see the value of the stock climb. And then it's going to climb all the way to the point of going public. And that's when you'll be able to cash out. And then, like I said, you got 100 more choices. You can do the same thing, but get in early and get in on the ground floor. So I love the fact that many people will be attracted to these companies and will want to buy them for cash, because you have to remember, if you download the app, you get $100 share of stock. Okay, $100, $150 share. But if you want to buy that same stock, imagine getting it for $10. So you buy it for cash, you can get it for $10.
Right.
But if you download it, it's $150, but you only get one. More people that are downloading the app are going to say, wait a minute, I can get more of this same stock for $10? Wow. for cash. And you got to remember, when you buy something at 1/10 of the price, I made my money when I bought it. I 10x to my money.
Mm,
So a lot of downloaders are going to look at the opportunity and go, hey, wait a minute, I can get it for one download is $100, $150, but I can get the thing for $10 if I pay cash. So you'll have a lot of cash investors coming along. But my point is that I want them to understand a lot of these influencer corporations, what we refer them to,
mm-hmm.
athletes. When you first see them launch, they're going to be have a low stock value. But as their fan base downloads, you're going to see in real time, you're going to see the stock price climb. And the more people that download, the higher the price. So you're going to be pushing people, man, download that app. Why? Because it's making my stock grow the more you
Right,
guys download. And
right.
so it's a beautiful thing. Like I said, it's going to be a beautiful thing. Good,
Wow.
brother Cam.
Yes, sir. No, man, just thinking about, how that actually can actually change the game. Because
Mhm.
of what, as you mentioned last week, some of the traditional ways that we've been taught to be able to invest and be able to make money. Nobody knew anything about this. You don't hear any of the politicians talking about this. You don't hear any of the presidential candidates talking about this. You don't hear the economists, talking about this. You don't hear nobody saying, "Hey, listen, there's a way that you can actually make 1,000x your money if you can invest in these companies," and it makes sense because America pushes businesses. So not only does America push business and the foundation is business, but the unity, the built-in unity, because of the angel investors say, hey, if we make this one company go unicorn, then we can just wash, rinse, and repeat. We make this one company go unicorn. We make 500,000 times our money. Then we just wash, rinse, and repeat again. I will put $10,000 in to make $50 million every time. Every time. That's a no brainer investment. I'll do it every time you ask me to do it. So this information is game changing. This information is really mind blowing for us here. So let me ask you this: Have as far as influencers getting on board with the program, what has been the reaction as you talk to many people about this? Talking about the Jobs
Oh,
Act, talk about fan
yeah.
base investing and fan base companies,
Well,
influencer companies.
I'll tell you that it's been met with skepticism and not bad, but actually good, because no one has ever offered an opportunity to invest. It's an oxymoron if you really want to know. How
Mm,
can you invest but with no money? Investing always implies money.
mm,
True, but all money is not the same type of money. But one of the things that we found is that, like when I was talking with the gentleman from InvestFest that happened a few weeks ago, almost a little over a month and something ago, he
mm,
said that sounds too good to be true. And I said, well, go to your app store and let the truth let the truth set you free. The thing is that when they find that this is not that we have proof of concept, that this is not just something that just popped up. Follow Me for Equity has been on the Apple and Android or Google Play stores for almost 2.5 years and has downloaded thousands of people have invested through that way. What we're doing is expanding it, like I said, through our factory, the factory of Unicorn Factory, and offering more opportunities for people to invest this way. So we do intend to change, and that's what's going to close the wealth gap. We have to have something innovative, something that's unorthodox, non-traditional, that can actually change the trajectory and where we are right now. And that's why this is so important that we utilize this law, that we utilize this technology, to do that. But of course, we have so many people that are out there that I say sometimes jokingly that we have PTSD because
mm.
they've been ripped off, Brother Cam, so many times that they're frightened with everything that sounds innovative. They've lost money behind so many swindlers and scammers and things like that. That when you tell them something remarkable, they immediately start grabbing, clenching their wallet and they're pulling their purse back because
Right,
they've been beaten so many times. But this is why I like what we're doing, and why I love it. What we're doing is because we've taken money out of the equation.
right,
You see, when we're asking you to invest nothing but not a dime, but only your time, then that we have de-risked you from losing any money. You'll never see us going, wait, we need you to invest anything, because to download this app and become a shareholder doesn't require a single dime of your money. And so therefore, they're still a little skeptical, but at the same time, they're willing to try. And I
Right.
want them to we need the community that is frightened and that has been beat upon by all these charlatans and these people that are out there with their fugazi, as they call it, and taking
Hmm.
people's money, or are giving you these false beliefs that these investments that you put your money in are going to turn around and reap great rewards.
Yes,
I
sir.
like, that's why I said I love it, the fact that you will actually watch the investment that you've made in real time change right before your eyes. And not years later, but daily, you will wake up and more downloads, more downloads, and more downloads. And the more downloads there are, the value of your stock's going to keep changing. You
So
see,
let
at Black Unicorn Factory, I try to explain to my students, we're not selling stock, we're selling deals. And
mm,
that's one of the things about it. When you go on the internet, an investor is interested in finding a deal. He likes what you do, but he wants to make it, he wants to get a deal. He wants to put in some money and he wants to get more back. That's what he's in it for.
right.
Now, it's great that you have a great product, and they believe in that. That's how money is made. But really, they want to see a deal. And what happens, many of the stocks, and like I said, I want you guys to fact check me on this. Many of these companies that are offering equity will sell you a $50 share of stock for $50. Now, is that a deal?
No,
No. A deal is when somebody offers you a $50 share of stock
for
for $5.
$5.
Now, that's a deal.
Yes, sir.
See, and what happens in pre-IPO investing is, on the pre-IPO side, that's what they call wholesale. So you're able to get deals on that side. Once a stock goes public, there are no
There's
more
no more
deals
deals.
that can be
No more
made.
deals. Right. And I
So
was
a
looking
lot of
at
wheeling, they call it wheeling and dealing. That's what happens in pre-IPO investing. You can
and I
get in
was
on a deal.
looking at
Mhm.
some of the reports on the pre-IPO side versus the IPO side. And even though some of the people would be up, I mean, 200% on the IPO side, after the companies went public, when you look at
Mhm.
how the gap between the pre-IPO angel investors and people who got in after the fact, I mean, the gap is huge. It's like as wide as the Grand Canyon. So that's
Mhm.
how important the getting in early is, because as you said, the wholesale, the opportunity to get those deals. They even said that Uber was down, and on the not on the pre IPO side, but on the other side, it was actually down. But the angel investors didn't feel it at all because they
Mhm.
had already made all of their money way before. So it
Mhm.
just shows the importance of getting in early. So what would
Yeah.
you say to people who say, "Well, how do I know that this company is actually gonna
Mhm.
go to where we say it's gonna go?" I know the answer to the question, but
Okay.
I'm just posing.
With all, and that's it sounds like it's a difficult question, but it's very easy. Let me see it. Let me try to handle that question. Whenever you invest your money in a company, you're betting on whether it's going to make it to the proverbial finish line, which means go public, or to be acquired by another
Another
bigger
company.
outfit.
Mhm.
Now, what happens is, with the companies that are in our program, the pre-IPO program, before we even apply for the application to go public, we are working on getting the company already pre-qualified. So what happens when you say, well, how do I know if the company's going to make it to the stock market? Well, let me explain, let me answer you. When they came to you, they were already qualified. See, they didn't need you to qualify to go public. When they came and offered you an opportunity to download the app, they were already qualified to go public that day.
Mm.
So it's not, you don't have, we taken all the guesswork out of it, and it's almost like investing, like I said before, investing in a horse race where they've already told you this is the
Who gonna
winner of the
win?
race right here.
Right.
Because if I tell you right now that the app that you're downloading has already qualified to go to the stock market, then you're not guessing whether it's going to make it or not. And how do you know? Let me show you how you know. If the stock market said all you had to sell was $3 million, 3 million worth of shares,
Hmm.
3 million. Every single company in Black Unicorn Factory's program has sold over 100 million. It's on the app. Look at it. So if we've sold over 100 million shares of stock and there's only 3 million you need to qualify to go public, then do you think that the question is, when you ask the question, do you think they're going to make it? Yeah. And they're far exceeding the qualification that the market requires. And all you have to do is take a look at two things. Look at the qualification the market asked for, 3 million. And look at the how much stock on the financial statement that the company's already sold, 100 million. And there's your answer right there.
Mm.
What happens with many of these companies that you're investing your money in, they're trying to razzle and dazzle you and with all the with all the bells and whistles that their whatever their product is. But understand, look at the financial statement and see if they've sold at least 3 million shares worth of stock. And I'll tell you, 99% of the time, they haven't sold but a couple of 100,000 shares of stock. You can look right at their crowdfunding pages. 200,000, 300,000, 400,000. They haven't sold 3 million.
Mm.
But I'll tell you this, not one single company in Black Unicorn Factory has sold less than 100 million. And that's on every financial statement that is audited by an auditor or a CPA. Because when a CPA verifies the financial statement, he's saying this is the truth, and I put my life freedom on it. And so, therefore, what he's saying is verified truth. And that's what I'm trying to explain to them. Like I said, want to take all the risk out of it. When you say, well, how do I know they're going to make the market? Well, they already made the market. They already qualified. They've
Mm.
already qualified. You can download it. It's okay. And what if I lose money betting on it? So there it is.
Yeah.
Up, brother Cam.
Yes, sir. No, I was saying that was just a powerful way to break that
Mhm.
down because, like you said, you know what the market is asking for. You see the requirements. You see that the companies have hit those requirements and not hit them, but crushed them, smacked them out the park like David Ortiz. So it's no question they're gonna perform. The question is, are you gonna get in now, or are you gonna be standing outside wishing that you got in after everything is already over with? So man, I think like I said, so everybody, I went over how you can actually become start with Follow Me for Equity. And for those that are just coming in, this is your brother King Cam, and this is Shifting the Culture podcast, and I'm here with Johnny Stewart of Black Unicorn Factory, and we're discussing, millionaires through NIL, and this is another closing the wealth gap in Black America episode and series. So we have sent that over. Like I said, I showed you earlier what everything looks like, right? So you're able to do that. So are there any particular people that you looking to work with, come up under the umbrella of Black Unicorn Factory, so to get those
Mhm.
companies qualified so that they can go to the next step? I know on the website
Yeah.
you have a couple people
And
that you talk
you
to.
know, one of the things about it is not everyone wants to be the head of a public company. Some people just want to, just have a job and take care of the family. They're not trying to be the head of a public company, and I understand that. For those people, no matter if you don't become a public company, a multi-billion-dollar company, you should still invest. You still have responsibility to invest because this is how you're going to retire. This is how you're going to pass along wealth to your lineage. This is something that you must do even if you don't become a public company. Now, for those that aspire, that have vision, and that have the an unction to be leaders, then that's one of the first qualifications is that you become is to understand when you go public, you're in the limelight of a nation of people that are following you. And with some people, I have to condition them to let them know that when you become a public company, you're going to it'll take a lot of pictures of you, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to have thick skin because when you're winning, there are people that like to talk about winners,
Right.
and those type of things like that. So, leadership mentality is important. One is the other quality is having a vision of a large company that has multiple companies underneath it. If that makes you excited, then you're qualified because it's not that your educational background matters. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at all. and your business acumen of having been in business. What matters is your mindset matters most. And that's what, if you have a mindset to be a billion-dollar company, and like I said, there's a certain amount of character, because you got to remember these new billionaires from these billion-dollar unicorns are representatives of the community. And as representative of the community, you're going to have to represent, and your character has to be one of the, you have to bring your
Right.
A game.
Yes, sir.
So a lot of the things that you do, you're going to have to distance yourself from. A lot of the, from your dressing, from the way you discuss and your language, things like that. Those things, because so many people are following you, and people like leadership. They like strong leadership, and those things can be taught. You can teach a person who wants to be taught to be a leader of a public company. But the idea of being a small business person, I'm sorry, that those days are over. We're
Yes,
about to
sir.
head into the holiday season, and you're going to find out that these big outfits are going to dominate the whole shopping season.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
small
sir.
businesses, those tents and table days, they're
Yes, sir.
numbered, before you're
Wow.
Amazon or Amazon. But that's it. So it's not that a person needs to have a college education full of college knowledge or business experience. We want a mindset, and if you have the mindset, we can take the rest. We can take over from there. Just have a mindset that I want to produce a legacy built business with multiple streams of revenue, and I'm ready to be a leader in helping our community and helping people to do better. That's really it. Helping people to do better.
And just imagine this. I'm just thinking now. On my visionary goggles right now. Just imagine if you was to take a company, and this company was able to generate $1 billion, and then that company generating $1 billion is now able to build a city. You're able to build hospitals, you're able to build schools, right? All of these things are obviously solutions that are necessary for our people and for our community, but they're also obviously assets and cash generating. So these things now, again, are being built outside of the main company, and these things are affecting and impacting people's everyday lives for the better. So that's the
Yeah.
mindset that we have to have. How are we able to create and develop better schools than the schools that we have now? How are we able
Yeah.
to develop, better financial institutions that assist businesses and people who want to go into business than what we already have now? How are we able to change the current condition of medical care and health care by developing our own, other than what we have now? And this is a way that you're able to do that, where you're able to build a whole world outside of
Mhm.
what you were used to, that could change the world for the better.
Yeah, they pointed out in 2020 that even during COVID, it was one of the most lucrative time for investors to have made money. To
Mhm.
bring a point down to home, did you know that the homeless crisis that we have, that they talked about how much money it would take, in billions to rectify the homeless crisis?
Right. Yes, sir.
They made enough money in 1 year, investors did, to eliminate homelessness.
Mm.
Eliminate it. Not a single person living on the street. And
Wow.
so the money is out there that could alleviate a lot of social problems that we have.
Mhm.
But you have a person that says, I genuinely, many of them will say that they care, but not really,
But not really.
and
Not
a
really.
lot of people, you can test a person's real, of their heart. Some people really want to help others, but not until you do better than them. You see, that's
Yes,
key.
sir.
Because if they started giving away homes right now to the homeless, it would upset some people. Even
Think
though we're
about that.
saying we're going to give away homes to the homeless.
Listen
But
to that.
some people that are working every day would be like, hey, wait a minute. Because they want to see people get helped, but not when it becomes better than them.
Mm.
And so I really challenge sometime that when we are in position to do a lot more, you're going to find that a lot more people that are on social or public assistance are going to be eliminated, because we're about to do right now a YouTube, I don't know what you call it, a skit, but it's where we're showing homeless people with a phone downloading our app. And when they download our app, I'll tell you one thing, after they download the app, let's say that they go to part two and click that opt-in button. That's going to eliminate them from public assistance, because the public assistance authorities will not let you sit there with hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars and pull public assistance. So
Absolutely
as
not.
I said, the Follow Me for Equity app will not just close the wealth gap, but you're going to see a lot less homeless people, because the only people that will be homeless are those who want to be. And for those people that don't want to be, don't worry, they'll be taken care of. They're going to be taken care of, and we're going to technology and law and this the movement, the new wealth movement, will actually, like I said, eliminate so many other social ills, and like I said, so many guys that are going into the prison systems and getting themselves in trouble. There will be fewer of those, plus fewer family breakups and things like that. And like I said, fewer homelessness, college students getting out of college and having huge amounts of debt over their heads. Those type of things are going to be eliminated.
Right.
So you're going to have a robust economy that is doing things, and we'll be able to help so many other people in other countries as well. Because you have to remember, the Follow Me for Equity app is not just available to Americans, but anyone in the world who has internet connection. So there we are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, man, that concludes another fire episode, man. This series was powerful. I encourage everybody to go back and to actually watch all 4 parts of this series that we did, because it was some groundbreaking, really earth shattering information and news that you dropped on us, Brother Stewart. Is there anything that you want to give us moving forward? Is there any way people can stay connected
Well,
with you,
yeah,
Black Unicorn
I would
Factory?
suggest that they send us email us at info@blackunicornfactory.com, so that we can add them to our email list and keep them posted on developments. But there's a lot of new things to come, like I said, in terms of social media, to keep people more abreast and to let them know of all the companies that are coming. We will be having a newsletter soon that will announce all the new companies that are coming through the pipeline, so that
Okay.
you can get early dibs on those. You get first dibs on those that are members of our newsletter. So
First
just
dibs.
look for
Remember
that.
now.
But email us at info@blackunicornfactory.com, and I'll add you to that newsletter that we're about to release very soon. And
Now
like
when
I
you
said,
bec-
you'll get first dibs
now when
at
you come into Follow Me for Equity, are you automatically put on the email list?
yes, you are.
Okay.
When you are, we have your email, and we'll be reaching you that way. But if they don't go through the app and they just want to be a part of the newsletter and get first dibs, they can do that as well. So
Okay,
our
gotcha.
shareholders are getting first dibs, and that's what that's what they're going to get. First chance at all the new companies coming down the pipeline.
A membership has its privileges now.
It has its privileges. Yes,
Yes,
it does.
sir. It has its
Thank you
privileges.
very
Well,
much, Brother King.
yes, sir.
Enjoyed myself.
Absolutely. Yes,
Mhm.
and we certainly enjoy having you, brother. As you can see up here, there's a QR code, family. If you want to just hit that QR code, it'll take you to the app. Follow Me for Equity. If not, I put in the chat the link as well, that you can go directly to the website, and then when you get on the website, you'll be able to click right on. What's the button? It says a new way to invest and build wealth. Follow Me for Equity app. You can go ahead and click that, and then you'll get all of the information that I showed earlier in the episode. You'll get your certificate and you'll get the email. And then what you want to do is you want to go and take your phone, right? And when you take your phone, you want to go and get the app. So let me see if I can show y'all the app here. Okay, here. Yes. So the app is right here, and it's right here at the bottom, right here. It's Follow Me. Move my hands out the way. Right here. Follow Me for Equity. So you click that, boom, and that takes you right to the app. So as you can see, Follow Me for Equity. Now I'm looking at my computer screen while I'm doing this, but this is the app right here. Follow Me for Equity, and it has a beautiful YouTube video at the front that breaks down everything about the app. And then as you scroll down, you'll be able to learn more. You can sign up. You can become an affiliate. Has a frequently asked questions and all of that on here as well, family. So that's how you go ahead and get to. That's how you get locked in. So, man, we appreciate you, Brother Stewart, for joining us again, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, we look forward to bringing you back, having some updates and have some further
Well, get a
discussions.
part of the newsletter. Get first dibs.
Yes, sir.
And
Absolutely. All right, then, Brother Stewart. So thank you, sir. We'll be talking to you soon.
it's been a pleasure.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you very much.
All right, bye-bye. All right, family. So, man, listen, you already know what time it is. Shifting the culture. Man, this has been a powerful series that we did with Brother Johnny Stewart from Black Unicorn Factory, closing the wealth gap, really being able to close the wealth gap. So now you have an opportunity to be able to be a part of it. Now, I'm actually partnering with Black Unicorn Factory. So for those who have been supporting the show, supporting the movement, support the content on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you'll have an opportunity to get your investment on and invest in Brother King Cam and what we doing here at Shifting the Culture and the mindset, self-improvement, and entrepreneurship information that we discuss and handle each and every week, right? So you have an opportunity to do that. For those who want to stay up to date and a part of the Shifting the Culture podcast community, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see where you can actually text the word STC podcast to 888-294-2793. Now, there were people earlier from Instagram that were trying to get more information that I showed tonight on the show. I'm actually going to, I have to reduce the size of the link. I've been trying to put the link into the text message, but the link is too big, so I have to make the link smaller. So if you can give me a little bit of time, I'm going to try to get that done tonight and be sending that out tomorrow. So if you want to get that PDF book from Damon John and the PDF book from, what's his name? Neil, I think it's Neil Patel. I think that's his name. Yeah, Neil Patel on the 1000X investment strategy. I will be sending that out, but you have to be in the community to get that. Okay, you have to be in the community, get it, and it's going to be a link to the PDF. So just give your brother till tomorrow to make that link smaller so it'll fit in text message, and then we'll get that sent out to you first thing in the morning. Again. But you got to be a part of the community. STC Podcast to 888-294-2793. And other than that, family, we will see you back here next week for another powerful show. Till next time, it's your brother, King Cam. Peace.
Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own.
Not your average nigga, I'm a god out the hood. They can't downplay me, I came up, I'm elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they see me in my presence, say they see how I'm coming. Young, but you not just gonna finesse me like you did my peoples. Then back when you said they was emancipated. This ain't that. Your head too big, you feeling yourself. The game wasn't fair, you had the advantage, we wasn't educated. I don't look at you people the same. Nah. Your worst nightmare, my skin tone about them chains. Yeah. Not no circus lion, son, I can't be tamed. You gon' have to kill me, pussy, Toby ain't my name. Y'all still want us think our history started when we were slaves? What? Come on now, talk about them pyramids we made. I was chosen by that man, you know y'all just been running game. The nerve